Hiya, how are you doing? And I am filming this Howay Hermes next episode straight after I filmed the Grand Conjunction video, so I'm wearing exactly the same. I still have the same cup of tea. Hinny's working very hard today for you, Hinstas. Anyway, I hope you're keeping well. Welcome back to my Howay Hermes series, where we look exclusively at Mercury or Hermes and the journey that it makes through the zodiac and all the fun that it has. So this particular episode is on Mercury ingressing or entering Capricorn. That is going to happen around December 20th, 2020, and here in the UK, that is, I believe, exactly 11 p.m. Hermes will leave Capricorn. It's a pretty fast transit in January 7th, around about that date, January 7th, 2021. And also what's important with this, I think, is that Hermes ingresses Capricorn a little bit ahead of the Sun. The Sun's still going to be in Sagittarius, actually. So Mercury kind of gets to have a little bit of, what do I want to say? Hermes gets to tell us what the 2020, 2021 Capricorn season is going to be like. Hermes is the one that gets to be like the messenger, because it is the messenger, but it's like also one of the first faster moving planets to be like, hey, like really tell us what it's going to be like. And that can come through messages and information, especially something seen in the everyday, the mundane, your immediate surroundings, things you overhear as well. You can start to feel a lot of mercurial energy, a buzz that is telling you spiritually, energetically, that Capricorn season is very much on its way. If you didn't already know, with Pluto, Jupiter and Saturn having been in Capricorn for a long time. I'm describing this as Hermes approaching the foot of a mountain, because Capricorn, this zodiac sign, this archetype, is like a mountain, basically. It's a huge friggin' mountain. It's the goat as well, but it's a huge friggin' mountain. It's very hard to move a mountain. It also takes a long time, I believe, for a mountain to like grow. It's pretty stoic, right? A mountain. Hermes like approaches the mountain foot with hope, because Hermes is coming out of Sagittarius. It's a bit different to, I think, other sort of maybe previous years where Hermes leaves Sagittarius and hop on into Capricorn and be like really hopeful, maybe even too hopeful, maybe a bit like Icarus and that story, like flying too close to the sun and all that jazz. This year, I think it's much more like a quiet hope. If you've been watching my other videos, it's a similar thing. The slowly waking up after having finally drunk some coffee, to savor it and allow yourself to slowly wake up, and with the overarching rat year energies as well. Caution is like the number one word this 2020, 2021. Hermes approaches this mountain that is Capricorn season with hope, but it's a quiet hope, but there's still a sense of like wildness, because actually Capricorn is a very wild sign, and I don't think this is talked about enough. Of course it is. Capricorn is innately Sagittarian. It comes after Sagittarius, so of course it's already kind of been there, done that. But when we are innately the sign behind us, it doesn't mean we've completely severed those energies or those experiences. No, we still have them. It's just that, especially with Capricorn being, of course, a more inward sign, and being an earth sign, the initial impression we can get from Capricorn energy is that things are a bit more quiet, than Sagittarius, that things are a bit more realistic, and sometimes that things are a bit more boring. But you'd be fooled. You'd be a fool to think that about Capricorn energy, because probably you just haven't been able to unlock or get the password to the magical grotto wherein you find the true beauty of Capricorn energy. This is the mergoat archetype we're talking about. It's pretty magical, but private, and it's very wild. So I've written down here, wild yet private thoughts, because Mercury, messages, especially the mind, but all kinds of messages and all kinds of system through which we would receive a message. And also I've written down horny goat, like want to sort of interact more with people with this horny goat mentality. So watch out for that as well. You could have a lot of like, some of you could have a lot of these quiet private hookups or quiet private horny affairs, you know, but we're in a pandemic, so obviously take your necessary precautions. Also, if you like what I do, by the way, if you like my work, my content, please consider liking the video. It does help me. It helps the algorithms, but it also helps me continue to feel like you actually want these videos. And do subscribe if you haven't already and you like what I do. I'm just going to plug my collaboration as well right now with Inspiring Alien Creations. We have made a channel called Mercurial Mystics here on YouTube, so go find it if you're interested. We are talking every couple of weeks. We release an episode talking about different topics, including aliens, astrology, tarot. We're eventually going to be talking about spirit guides and like the ethics of astrology and so many interesting topics. If that's your sort of jam, it's very informal sort of conversation. Go give us a subscribe. Also, oh yeah, shiz, I almost forgot. If you're a Sagittarius and you're watching, if you're Sagittarius Sun, you can still book with me. Look in the description box below. I'm offering 20% off all of my services for Capricorn Suns. Sagittarius Suns. Duh, honey. This is Mercury already getting on into Capricorn, isn't it? Sagittarius Suns. Okay, you get 20% off all of my services for anything, any kind of reading you want, any reading. Whether you want half an hour reading, 3-hour reading, any type of reading, all Sag season. So that's until 22nd of December 2020. And also, if you know a Sagittarius Sun that you might like to buy a gift for, a reading, that's fine too. You can just tell me. You can still get the discount so long as they are a Sagittarius Sun. So what is Hermes? And I'm going to do this very, very briefly. If you want more detail on like what is Hermes and how we've been discussing Hermes, maybe you're just coming across my Howay Hermes series for the first time with this episode, check out my previous ones where I do discuss Hermes in more detail. I just don't want to repeat myself in every single one too much, but I will in future be making a video exclusively about Hermes or Mercury and what that is in astrology, and then I can just refer everyone to that video. I should have done that in the first place. Oh well, but very briefly, Hermes, as I said, is often associated with messages and being the messenger sort of archetype, and it's also associated with being the trickster, especially when we have Mercury retrogrades. Sorry, excuse the noise. When we have Mercury retrogrades, we have these senses of trickster energy, of things not going as planned, just to like trip us up kind of spiritually, just to see how we're going to survive and get through it, or if we really need to care about it. And also Hermes is the sort of shrewd merchant or the shrewd talker, whether we're talking money or other things or opportunities. It's like Hermes and our placement, our Hermes placement tells us how we sort of play the markets. Oh gosh, there's a lot of sirens right now. It'll pass. Okay. Yes, Mercury like plays the market, plays the audience really well to get their money, to get their support. Let's talk about then what is Capricorn. Capricorn, again, very briefly, is the Mergoat, as I mentioned before. It is the cardinal earth sign. It's also the last earth sign in the zodiac, and it's the last earth sign season before we get into the 2021-2022 cycle. This is really earth in its most sort of supreme, seeking stability, yes, and like Taurus does, and seeking sense, yes, like Virgo does, but it's seeking also some sort of supremacy, some sort of surmounting, that's a good word, right, for Capricorn, and the goat, and the mountain goat, some sort of surmounting. It's cardinal earth, so wanting to climb higher, wanting to spread further across a map, an imaginary sort of spiritual map, a map where the spirit can experience as much as possible, but all of that is in the earthy senses of what is tangible. Often, of course, this can be money, this can be materials, this can be possessions, but also like opportunities, accolades, titles, credit, and also just sense and logic and a sense of security as well. All that kind of thing can be associated with Capricorn, but in the cardinal sense of imagining that you are ruling a certain spiritual domain, and you're also trying to initiate a lot of the time and lead with that cardinal energy. So it's not like Taurian earth energy, which wants to stay a lot of the time or finish things off a lot of the time. It's not like Virgo, which is really like all over the place. And often it's more like an air sign half the time, Virgo. It's different. Cardinal earth is different. Being in control of and initiating, not necessarily finishing things off, because maybe sometimes there's just a better direction to go, or there's something else, something brand new to be started, and you can get this sense of there's still some power there, or there's something that I want materially there or logically there, so I'm going to go get it even though it's a different direction. That's kind of how I'm feeling cardinal energy. Super sage is what I've written down here for Capricorn, especially in this particular 2020-2021 year. Capricorn really is going to be this super sage. Of course, Sagittarius is the sage archetype, but I really don't think it has been able in this year to show a lot of the sage energies. I feel like a lot of the Sages have been very quiet, neutralized, with Jupiter being in Capricorn in the supposed, it's not the fall, is it, but like really not liking to be in Capricorn. Because of that, a lot of Sagittarius have had to like go back home. They've had to, that could be literally or spiritually, they've had to go back home. They've had to focus on foundations, roots, stability. They've had to just get back to a grind. This is also Capricorn risings, by the way, with Sag in the 12th house. So super sage, Capricorn is the super sage then of this year. And we're going to feel it more and more with Hermes traveling through. We're going to hear about it more. We're going to talk about it more, evidenced more in our sort of everyday interactions and movements, like energetically evidenced. And we're going to get more signs and sigils and synchronicities that tell us and confirm to us that we are in this super sage sort of space. This is like the old wise goat or the old wise person at the foot of the mountain telling Hermes, yeah, I told you. Or if they're not saying, yeah, I told you, they're saying, look, I've been up and down this mountain 100 times this year, so let me tell you a few things, Hermes. And then Hermes is listening really keenly and eagerly and with a little bit of hope, but also Hermes has been diluted recently. Let's talk about December 21st then, because on December 21st, there is a strong square with the Moon and Chiron in Aries. And Chiron is direct right now. This is the 16th of December as I record this, 2020. And a square, very briefly, is a point of like resistance or friction or squaring off. And so what I'm getting is that this is going to present for some of us, especially if this is touching natal placements for you, emotional insecurities on our mind about whether this climb up this mountain will be a success or not, or whether it will be innovative or not, or whether even it'll be fun or not. There'll be sort of doubt and trepidation. The doubt is being introduced, especially from like emotional insecurities and tension coming from the Moon and Chiron in Aries. But the trepidation is of course there as well, because Mercury wants us to move. Hermes wants to flit and just get climbing up the mountain. But there's this introduction, this introduction of doubt, or this discomfort. Yes, skepticism as well about something being like worth the time. It's like a cardinal square. Hermes being in Capricorn has just gotten all this information about how to climb up the mountain from Capricorn, but from the goat. But the Moon and Chiron in Aries are like, yeah, we also like cardinal things. We also like to win and gain ground and territory. We also like to be in control, but we like to do it in the fire sense. So we want to feel passionate. We want to feel like we can express ourselves, and that there's some sort of creativity. And so there's a bit of tension there, because some of us might not just be feeling the climb around the 21st. What I'm also getting for a lot of us is around the 21st, or just generally as Hermes goes through Capricorn, we'll be getting more of this please send me the contracts sort of vibe. So we'll be communicating with others, we'll be talking with others, we'll be asking questions that relate to contractual things, or the information. You want more information about some sort of Capricornian thing that could be climbing up some rank. Could relate, of course, to jobs, career, business, definitely. But also it can be like receipts as well. So a lot of us will be asking, can you show us the proof, the evidence? Okay, can you, or even just literally, can you give me the receipts? Can you show me that you actually did this, or you actually bought that? And like kind of like communicating some serious command or demand to be presented with something tangible, or to be presented with something which is like a ticket saying, yes, it is worth the time to climb, and that it's not a waste of time. Hermes, yes, is in cardinal earth, and so this is going to be a pragmatic mind, and it's also going to be like small or short but serious movements. So it's kind of like movement with purpose, and also like cautious communication. And I think this is just going to be more of a continuation, because with this rat year energy, a lot of us have been increasingly communicating with caution, strategically, playing a bit of chess, especially while Mars is retrograde, right? Also, what I'm getting here for us is boss messages, because Capricorn is very often called the boss, the goat of the zodiac. And so boss messages, whether that's you sending them out and or they're coming in, you're getting them from spirit, or literally from companies, whatever the case might be. It could be like inspiring messages in your dreams or something to boss up. This is also leveling up energy, but it's leveling up with words. So again, it could be you announcing that you're leveling up in some sense, or you receiving messages about you leveling up. Or maybe that's just like the conversations you start to have where you're talking about that. For Capricorn suns and Capricorn risings, I think you're going to be getting much more talkative than usual, and also that there'll be like more transactions for you, especially if you are a business person, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're an artist that also sells their art. I'm feeling that there's going to be much more transaction or deals. There might even be more like contracts made with other artists or other business people. But at the very least, I feel for you, Capricorn suns and Capricorn risings especially, the climb gets more stimulating, or you get like a stimulation boost, especially those Capricorns and Capricorn risings who've really been suffering and are still suffering in this 2021 year. Alrighty, that will be that. I tried to keep it short. I hope you enjoyed this video and this edition to Howay Hermes. I will see you in the next one. Happy hump day. Bye bye.